All right, peace, family. What's going on, y'all? Hope everybody's doing well tonight. And we make sure I'm live on all platforms, first of all. Get my stuff queued up. All right, there we go. Welcome to Aboriginal Global Media. I am your resident host, the Mad Scientist, the Ghetto Scholar. And we are here tonight to go over some very pertinent information, or at least I think that it's very pertinent. And in order to show you how pertinent it is, let's open up the actual flyer. There we go. It's going to get hot tonight. Now, if y'all on my Facebook or any of the platforms, Instagram, TikTok, X, YouTube, anywhere, y'all have seen how these people have been on my page upset about what we are actually doing, which is a mission. The mission is simple. It's actually on this flyer, minus the typos. What is the mission? Well, what I have up here is what you will call in hip hop a double entendre, meaning you can read this multiple ways. When I say myth is your reality, first of all, I'm dissing you. Second of all, I'm also at the same time not dissing you and telling you myth is more powerful than what you think is reality. And so anybody who is around children knows that children aren't deciphering large encyclopedias and textbooks. They're given rhymes, nursery rhymes, stories. And the stories stick with them so much so that if they hear one when they're younger and it's about a man in red and white who rides in a sleigh, a 3-year-old male child can hear that at 3, 4, 5, and it can sometimes and oftentimes have him celebrating Christmas when he's 35 or 45. Had he never heard the story, he would not have that as a part of his behavioral dynamic. But because he heard the story, it's tradition. And even though when he grows up, hopefully the nigga don't believe in Santa Claus. Let's give it up for all the people who still believe in Santa Claus and you grown as hell. All right. But for those of us who have a little bit more sense, we know that Santa Claus is a myth. The question is, where does it come from? And what does it mean? And so myth is your reality is as much as you know the story of Cain and Abel from real life situations. You know the story of Asar and Seth from real life situations. You know the story of Jesus and Judas from real life situations. However, that does not dismiss the fact that those working mythos have a dual effect. And so tonight, we are here to talk about Myth is your reality. Fake chronologies and fake histories. The fairy tale you were taught to believe in, called history, deciphered. Why myth has been more powerful than history. A scholastic look at major figures you believe in that never existed or whose identity was stolen. Alexander the Great. They're on my post right now, tearing it up on Facebook. Jesus. They didn't even want to spell Jesus. They put Jesuits or Jesuits. They meaning my AI program. Muhammad. Oh my God. I thought you was a Muslim. How can you say such? Moses. Tacitus, who is considered a very foundational historian. Manetho, who taught all the world about Egypt. Flavius Josephus. So some of y'all don't even know who these people are. And I'm not trying to make you a scholar. What I'm trying to show you is if you have no control over your story, then you have a problem. And you don't have control over stories. Where your movies, publications, and other things that are dominant in society. Yeah. So, myth is your reality. That is the reality, and that can be a very functional thing or a dysfunctional thing. Shout out to all my folk in the chat. Make sure that you share this video. If you would like to come in and challenge me on anything that I want to say, I'm about to share this link inside of the YouTube page so that you can come on live and challenge me. Or you could do it from the chat. I have no problem with that. If you're shy or something of that nature, that's cool. All right. So shout out to my folk on Instagram. I see y'all in here. Facebook, we're streaming. We're on X, live streaming on YouTube. All right. So we're in the building. I just wanted to make sure all my folk are in here. All right. So let's share this actually. I extracted this information into a 100-page ebook to help those of you on the Greek side, Islamic side, Judaism, so that you can see how the chronology has affected you. I'll put it in the chat. The link is going to be in the chat to the ebook. That was the first flyer that I showed. Let's put that in there. So that link is there. I'll share it with my folk on Instagram too. Because y'all have, let me tell you, let me break this down from the beginning so you can understand what we're here to do. I am not here to change your belief system, change your religion, change your vantage point on your spirituality or whatever. But I am here to tell the truth, the absolute truth and nothing but the truth. And the only thing you can do is get mad, especially to the pale people who come into my chats, YouTube videos, posts, etc. And not all of you, but most of you. You're very angry because your whole world is a nursery rhyme. I'm talking about the entire thing. From Israel to Jesus to Santa Claus, it's all the same. And that's okay, because you have to get people real dumb to follow you. Actually, most of the world is not following you anymore, which means you're on your way out. And so these videos or any of the literature that I do this for fun. This is not my normal job. I'm an author. I have over 40 books published. I write books and do this because I like history. That's not my job, though. My everyday job is working in health and healing. And so I don't care whether it's my everyday job or whether I have credentials or not. You can tag your historian. It could be a professor at a university, Afrocentric, non-Afrocentric. I don't care who they are, European, American scholar, whoever. We're going to start out with Israel and we're going to go all the way down to all your myths. The Muslims, I'm not saying that Muhammad didn't exist. I'm saying the Muhammad that you believe in is an absolute character, just like Santa Claus. And you, as a grown-ass man on a planet that has access, gives you access to all this material, are walking around with a red beard, looking like, yeah, you need help. You need help. You know you need help. You know you need help. So this book on chronology can help you. Now, your children learn stories all the time. They children know about Santa Claus. They want money for the Tooth Fairy. But here's the skinny on the whole thing. When you don't have good mothers and good fathers, the household is open to attack from anything. If you don't have your nationality and your political status, nor do you know the culture that's attached to it, you let anything into the ears of your children. And so anyone who knows Arna, our number one purpose is to establish identity for the people who are called Black Americans, who are willing to study that so that the culture can be controlled from the inside out. That affects your economy, that affects your marriage, that affects your rate of marriage, that affects what type of children that you're bringing out, all surrounding your identity, which is the composite stories that you tell about yourself. So what kind of stories are you telling your children? What kind of stories are you telling your children? Your children know who Jesus is. How do they know who Jesus is? Where did they learn it from? They learned it from the external culture. Then they learn, oh, well, Jesus is God, which is an absolutely ridiculous. A person who never existed is your fulcrum and your center of reality. Think about that. So that means that's not your center of reality. Whoever made him up with that intent and purpose, and whoever is still carrying on that is your fulcrum. And so let's jump right into it. We're 14 minutes in. Let's jump to the most important thing. Right now, there is a group of people on the planet who are suffering genocide because another group of people who call themselves Israel are in a specific location and they have no attachment to the historical name, to the historical people, to anything of that nature. Then you have another group of people who are called Hebrew Israelites. Everybody's entitled to their spirituality, but don't try to make it real history. There's no such thing in history as a Hebrew Israelite. Until now, which you have a right to do that. But here's the real danger. The danger is everything in the universe around you is recorded, the real events. And as soon as you attach yourself to a myth that is not rooted in a great lesson from your ancestry, it is rooted in fictitious reality. That is the beginning of non-coherent thought. I'm not going to hear anybody say that, use that word. I heard Billy Carson yesterday trying to, I guess his scamming ran out. So he's talking about non-coherence and coherence in thought. The light field. Yeah, Y'all know what he does. But my point is just that. Scammers come in where someone is communicating something, they redraft it as their own and take it away from its coherence. Its coherence is its rhythm. I'll give you an example of coherence versus non-coherence. A coherent person can calm down. A non-coherent person cannot calm down. They're impulsive. Coherence is Kobe coming out and scoring 81 points. Non-coherence is anybody in the NBA shooting 40 times and only making 10 shots. It is a real thing in science. And so non-coherent histories bring stress. They bring misinformation. They come with code that will corrupt you, corrupt your perception. Hell, even corrupt your body. You'll be eating things because it says it right here. And so what we're saying is we're going to attack those stories tonight. So don't get offended by me. I just happen to read. So I'm going to use the proper chronology book. I'm going to use the white man who wrote the Bible book. I'm going to use all of these things so that we can come to a conclusion. Let's start with Israel. Is that okay with y'all? Let's start with Israel because I think they're very violent people. And violence is nothing wrong with you defending yourself. Everybody should be able to do that. Let me open up the book. And show you what's here. All right. The white men who wrote the Bible. Somebody said, why did you write that book? I mean, are you upset with white people? First of all, you're not white. You're pale. So you can get this book at the same website, ebook or hard copy. Got the hard copy right here. And these two books that I'm showing are going to help you debunk the fake stories. All right, so let's go right into it. All of you, I don't care who you are. You're Christian, you're Muslim, you're a Jew, you're a Hebrew Israelite, you're a historian, you are Afrocentric using certain histories. Well, if you're using a false history, that's your fault. That's not my fault. This book covers that. Let's go into it. Let's prove our point. I'll come back to Josephus. Ebla tablets. I dare anybody. Here we go. Tag all your people now. Let them know I'm live. Matter of fact, I'm going to go on Facebook right now, just for all those people. Yeah, we're gonna make sure that they pull up. All right. So let me go back here. I just had to post them, folks. All right, so here we go. Start with number one. This is their big one. Because according to them, this is at the core of their identity as a people. People say we live in a Judeo-Christian society. This one dagger is going to destroy the whole thing. Now, y'all can keep believing in them all y'all want. Y'all can believe in the politicians that make you vote policy that amplifies Israel. Y'all can vote for politicians that want to donate money to defending Israel. Y'all can do whatever y'all want. I'm telling you, it's fake. So here's the story. The story says Israel is one of the major storylines of the Bible. It occurs in what is now called the Torah or the Pentateuch, or the first book. The storyline is that name Israel was a name given to a prophet named Jacob. How you say Jacob in Hebrew is Yaqub. Interesting. Because he successfully wrestled with a god or angel. Now, because of that, Jacob's line is considered the chosen lineage of God, and they are called Israel. And for short, they call themselves Jews. Point number one, the origin of the word Israel is not this biblical story at all. This biblical story is only about 1,000 years old. The real story is about 3,000 years old. And the real story comes from a civilization, a black, indigenous Afro-Asiatic civilization called Ebla. The biblical authors, they stole the concept. What did I do? I went to the Ebla Digital Archives, where you can look at all of these tablets. So inside of the tablets, what happened? The word Israel occurs 18 times in the Ebla Online Digital Archives. On July 18th, 2017, I did a public lecture on this subject of Israel being documented in stone at Ebla. I recorded it and still have the live viral video footage. I still have the footage. In it, I point out the word Israel 18 times. I was actually debating a guy on Side TV who was trying to tell me that I was lying. I kept the video, which I have. I screenshotted all the aspects to it. Guess what? Guess what the Ebla Digital Archives administrators did? They removed the particular text with the word Israel on it. So when y'all think I'd be tripping when I say these people know who I am. Same thing they did in the Masonic Museum that had Benjamin Banneker standing over George Washington and Andrew Ellicott with a map showing how he was laying out Washington, D.C., which debunks the Lafayette. He remembered the plans of French Lafayette. No, he did not. He drafted the plans for your capital, how it was laid out, where the buildings would be, what stars they would align to, all of that. They took the photo down out of the oldest Masonic museum. Once we put it online, they took it down. This is almost 20 years ago now. 18 years ago, actually. So, getting back to this, they also rearranged epic words to hide the word Israel, which I am about to show. All right. The main point is Israel had nothing to do with Jews, a Torah, Jacob, or the Bible. So whoever wrote the Bible, and the Bible is only less than 1,000 years old, whoever wrote it knew where it came from, stole it, redrafted it, and represented it to the people. So my caveat to you is the whole history of Islam, Judaism, and Christianity is a fight over lineage and documents and stories. That's the real thing. It is a fight over identity. Some people who are identity thieves, other people who are having their identity stolen. You can't go to Harvard, Yale, Princeton, UCLA, wherever Ivy League, Poison Ivy League school, and learn that. You can't write a dissertation on that. It is illegal. You will get an F for telling the truth. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree. You will get an F for telling the truth of what I'm about to say. Israel was an epithet. It was an invocation. It means we are invoking the what? Isra. Isra is the protection of El. El is a deity. First an ancient king, then a deity. The Eurasian writers of the Bible stole these terms. So, here we go. Let's make this bigger. You see Israel, I'm citing where it showed. So here I am right here. This is July 28th, 2017, which is approximately 8.5 years ago. I'm still talking about shit I talked about 8.5 years ago. This is why you need think tanks. This is why your leadership is fake and boule. The truth is illegal. You see it. This photo is taken live from 2017 lecture that I did on the subject. As you can see here from the screenshot from the video, I am showing the 18 times that Israel is mentioned in the archives. I gave the text location for each mention. Since that time, administrators of the Ebla archives have removed the listings and attempted to make them difficult to find. The word Israel was a call for the protection, epithet, from the god Il. This deity was a Levantine, Middle East, prominent god amongst various groups. The most important thing is El was depicted as a black god. The peoples of Canaan also venerated El. Yeah, the children of Ham. The children of Ham. How you call the children of Ham cursed and then you steal their gods? The people called Jews stole these terms and gods from indigenous people. Somebody please tag a Hebrew Israelite. I know they're out here. Jacob did not wrestle with no damn angel and get the word Israel. This is a lie. Here's El. Look at him. What crown does he have on? Why is El wearing an Egyptian crown? Son of man, say to the prince of Tyre, thus says the Lord Yahweh, because your heart is proud and you have said, I am El, in the seat of Elohim. I am enthroned in the middle of the seas, yet you are a man and not El, even though you have made your heart like the heart of Elohim. Here we see El depicted with Tamari, aka Egyptian crowns. Keep going, Ali. What else do you have? What about Abraham? Wasn't his name in the Bible first Abram? Abram is Ibrahim, a vizier or leader at Ebla. That's where you get Ibrahim from in your Quran. Abram or Abraham. The Abraham you have in the Bible is a fake character, drafted from a whole nother civilization, put into your book and made a patriarch, and he don't know nothing about that, bro. If he could come out, he'd be like, man, why y'all let the people fool y'all? Why y'all let the people fool y'all like that? Another screenshot from the live lecture on Ebla. I will show these directly from the archives as well. Here we have the name Ibrahim, who was the military leader. Ibrahim from Eblite is Ibrahim of the Quran, and Abraham of the Bible. His other name was MSLM. That was his name. Now we're about to get into the war between the Saracens, the Byzantine, and the Western Church. Because somebody is fighting for their lineage and somebody else is trying to steal it. Who is trying to steal the Saracen lineage? Who are the Saracens? The Moors. Who are the Moors? The Umayyad. Who are the Umayyad? The people the Arabs lied on and stole their Quran. It is sometimes transliterated as Muslim in the text, which I will show. This is important because the entire battle between the Umayyad and the church was over this lineal history. You see his name right there, Ibrahim. And then you see Israel. So we don't have to make nothing up. In summary, Israel has nothing to do with Jews. Abraham of the Bible is from Ibrahim of Ebla. Il, or Yah, which becomes Yahweh, were both stolen from Ebla. Kara, which is the original language that you misname Arabic, matches the Eblaite language. The text rhymes like Quran. You go to the Eblaite text, they are writing on clay, rhyming. You go to the Quran, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. Idina sirat al-mustaqim. Sirat al-ladina anta alayh. You get it? It's rhyming. I made sure the word Adam, we can show you where it comes from. Egypt and Ebla. Maliki Yawmiddin, we can show you that word here. You see it. Malik. Adam. People don't be reading. That's okay. Most black men are not scholars. And most black men who are scholars have white wives. You want to know why? Of course you do. I'm not even going to say. Let's keep going. So this is all history. My point of conclusion. Ibrahim. I documented so much of this stuff. It's in the book. So let's come off of here and let's establish something. Please tag everybody you know right now. Where are they? You know how they have stuff? Where are they now? Where are they? Y'all mean to tell me it's hundreds of thousands of Hebrew Israelites, hundreds of Hebrew Israelite leaders, and y'all can't tag them to come into here to have a comment? You know why they can't come in? They can't defend that shit. Meanwhile, they got your sons on the corner right over here on Godby. I'm in Atlanta, South Side. They right here on Godby and Old Nat. They're right on Old Nat and Jonesboro. You got FOI over here. They following the same bogus interpretations. They're on Capitol Road. What I'm trying to say to you is the wealth of your community is being sucked into La La Land. It's just as bad as being on crack. And what I'm telling you is I could solve the problem in 5 minutes. If everybody agrees that it's a lie, what is there to talk about? I can't hear nobody. I can't hear you. I can't hear your favorite leader. Where they at? You know what? The truth is becoming illegal. And that's why this is I'm writing the rest of my books. I got 2 documentaries and 3 more books to write. And guess what? None of what I write will be history. That'll be over there in encyclopedias for y'all. We do dissertations all the time. We got them everywhere. We got them everywhere. And I'm not the only one that's writing them. So now, check this out. To all of the biblical scholars, you might have a father that's a preacher or pastor. Bring them in here. You know what they're going to do? They're going to bring up, oh, the Bible is verified through archaeology. The Bible is verified through this. The Bible, they carbon dated this. They did this, and they want you to be impressed. Meanwhile, we only been on 39 minutes, and I gave you more information about Israel than the last 1,000 years that any of your people have ever had. I'm talking about you, your great-grandma who's in the church, your great-great-grandma who's in the church, your great-great-great-grandma who's in the church, your great-great-great-great-great, however long they've been under that spell. It took me exactly 30 minutes to undo the spell. And nobody on earth can battle me. This is battle rap. Tag your favorite teacher. I'll drink me some muscadine juice and wait on you. Matter of fact, we're fasting. I haven't eaten yet. So I'm going to eat after I leave here. I'm going to eat a little bit later than I usually eat. That's okay. I'll stay up later so I can digest. I ain't got nothing to do but this. What y'all want to do? Go tag them. Because I'm about to go to Jesus, Muhammad, Alexander the Great. Who else did I put on there? Manetho. They're all getting, every idol is going to get knocked down. I need you to tag your favorite teacher. I'm going to all my social media to see who came in. Where's your favorite teacher? Come on, man. Where you at? Where are they? Bring your Islamic scholars, because they all in the Quran. They can't even read the Quran. Tag your imam. Y'all give zakat to these people. Come on. Y'all send your children to schools ran by Christians. The ideology in schools is still that. Where you at? I did not pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to college. As a matter of fact, I went to college. The people on here can verify who know me. I had a scholarship. So I don't have no credentials on this subject. Zero. And I'm better at the subject than anybody you have with credentials. And I'm not bragging on myself. What I'm trying to show you is credentials are bullshit. Unless they come from a place that has a right to tell the truth. So let's go to the next one, because obviously I've been waiting, you've been waiting, nobody wants to talk about Israel. Let's go to the next one. Jesus. Sorry. Hey, my mom's a Christian, so y'all know. Ain't nobody tripping. I ain't trying to hurt nobody's feelings. I can't possibly be trying to hurt nobody's feelings. Let me show you what this is, though. So you will never be lied to again. And so some people might be saying, why you keep talking about this history over the East? Why you ain't talking about the history over here and you claiming you indigenous? The reason I am doing this is because not one indigenous leader, not one, except if they are not one of them knows real world global history in a context where they can explain what happened in North, Central, and South America. And if they're a Johnny-come-lately that took pieces and parts of what we were saying for an opportunity to go viral online. I promise you, that's all they're doing. But let me prove my points. So now, Jesus and Mary. Jesus and Mary? Jesus and Mary. Yeah. Jesus and Mary. Let me get this right. Matter of fact, let me go all the way. Let me get this right here. Can y'all see that? Y'all can't see that yet. We on Jesus now. If I get struck down, if a lightning bolt comes through here and strikes me, Jesus is real. Jesus is real. Some of y'all think I'm going to die in my sleep tonight or something. I'm going there. Y'all can't make Jesus do nothing to me, I promise. All right. Jesus, AC, BC calendar. We have to talk about that first, because the whole calendar is based on the birth of Jesus. When did the calendar come? Is the calendar 2025 years old? Obviously not. When did the calendar come into existence? Was Jesus in existence before the calendar? My argument is absolutely not. He did not exist before the calendar. He is a borrowed identity. Jesus is identity theft. It hurts, right? Because you are so tied to your belief. You actually are psychologically tethered to pale people because you think that Jesus gave them favor. That's why they are doing what they're doing, right? That's what you believe. Many of you do believe that. But let me break this down. The formation of the BC and AD calendar. It proves the original and first church of the East had no timeline to give the world for existence of a first century AD Jesus because he did not exist. The old church I'm talking about is called the Greek Orthodox Church or the Byzantine Church. They had a host of characters that had nothing to do with Jesus before Jesus. But Jesus is identity theft of all of the things that those characters tried to do. It's like if you wanted to make a new person to add to the Justice League. And you just took powers from other people and you just grafted in a new mutant. The old church grew out of the Serapis cult and was directly tied to Egypt. The savior of that church was similar to Osiris, a mythical figure used as a deity by the elite. The savior who bore the name Isho in Syriac and Eosus in Greek was developed at the 7 ecumenical councils. So let's keep going. The church had to develop chronology. So now here's what they tell you. And now you have to be a scholar to get this, but I'm going to break it down in layman's terms. The Doctrina Temporum is the actual document created by this man, Dennis Patel. See, I don't just be saying something happened. I'm telling you who did it. Now I'm about to tell you who did it, the names of the people, the identity of the people. Dennis Patel, aka Dionysius Petavius. He was one of the people who helped create the AD and the BC calendar system. Most of us who learn chronology, which is how to study history on the timeline, as history majors or just readers, learned that the year count on the Gregorian calendar did not come from Pope Gregory. Pope Gregory did not make the Gregorian calendar. He just fixed something about Easter. The year itself was not given by him. He only recalculated the annual time for a year in Easter. The actual count is said to have come from a bishop. This is what they said now. Watch this. Now, this bishop, who they're going to say made the calendar, has the same name as the 16th century liar right here. So what he did is he's going to backdate this name. Watch how this plays. Watch the dice roll. Watch the fixed dice. The actual account is said to have come from a bishop from the church named Dionysius Exiguus. We learned that he allegedly lived at a time that Rome operated under the Ab Urb Condita calendar. So allegedly, y'all, instead of AD and BC, they had a calendar called Ab Urb Condita. Here's the challenge I'm going to give you. Go find me one primary document from this fake ancient Rome that has an Ab Urb Condita calendar to it. All of the white folk, the pale folk who are under my posts, who are saying Greek and Rome actually existed. Now's your chance. Go find me a primary document with a calendar count that says Ab Urb Condita this year or this year. I'm waiting. You say Greek and Rome existed, and they're saying that it had an Ab Urb Condita calendar, and all these documents y'all say y'all got, y'all can't find just one? I know why you can't find it. It's the same reason they can't find the Declaration of Independence, the original one. This calendar allegedly was a count from the founding of Rome. So they're saying they started counting this calendar from the founding of Rome. And on our current calendar, the founding of this fake Rome, I'm saying it's fake, was 754 BC. Or in their calendar, it would be the year 0, Ab Urb Condita, AUC. So 1,281 years from 0, Ab Urb Condita, or 754 BC, this bishop, Dionysius Exiguus, in 527 AD, right, calculated that Jesus lived 527 years before his existence. First of all, the man didn't even exist. There's no records of Dionysius Exiguus, no primary documents contemporary to his time at all. That's like somebody saying you had bills and you used to live in South Atlanta in 2025, and 50 years later they go and they try to find out all the records. Anybody got any bills in that person's name, any electronic data stored in the person saying that they lived in South Atlanta, any addresses, any deeds in their names, any rental doc? Ain't nothing in their name. Imagine going to court and you say, I live at so and so. The judge's like, well, do you have a bill? Do you have anything that says you live there? You say, no, I don't have nothing that says it. That's the entire history of white people, aka pale people. No reason has ever been put up to how to calculate this number. Let's just keep going. He had a friend. His name was Joseph Justus Scaliger. Scaliger and Dionysius Petavius worked together to falsify chronology. Let me tell you how they did it. Let's read. So we know that Scaliger and Dionysius worked together to create these pseudo persons and histories. Eusebius, you'll see people using his name, was allegedly a church chronologist who gave us Flavius Josephus's writings. Now, Flavius Josephus is a famous Jew who allegedly lived in the fake Rome I'm pointing out. Eusebius took all of his writings and gave it to us, but we don't have no writings from Eusebius' time, like documents, like able to verify them. All of the documents from Eusebius come from who? Scaliger. 400 years ago in the 1600s, 1500s. Here is Dionysius Petavius. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. This is his document. And this is him introducing the AD calendar. Now, let me show you how they did this. Let me show you how they did this. This is Scaliger. I'm not going to go over all of his history, but he brought all types of documents that you thought were Greek and ancient Roman and ancient Roman identities that never existed. They literally Kaiser Sose this stuff up. Y'all saw the movie Kaiser Sose? So, history Scaliger falsified, and nobody can argue with me. I dare them. Tag them. Flavius Josephus. The Septuagint Bible. It said, y'all say the Septuagint Bible was initiated during the time of Ptolemy Philadelphus. First of all, he never existed. Second of all, he didn't write no damn Septuagint. He didn't get no Septuagint written. No Jews wrote no Septuagint when he was there in 285 BC. There were no Jews in 285 BC. There was nothing even thought of as Jewish or biblical. Who else did Scaliger give you? St. Jerome, Manetho, Athenius, Macedon, Alexander the Great. All right, so let's keep going. I just want to show you some real live examples now. Documents. Yeah. The Arabs was in on this too. I'm going to get to them. But before I get to them, because I got to deal with chronology, let me go here. Here we go. Now, here's what you need to understand. When they wrote the year, Anno Domini, let's say right here we're looking at what we think is 1527. That's the I. It was either an I or a J. And the I or J is there because it represents the year of Jesus, meaning 527 years in the year of Jesus. They went back, Scaliger and Petavius and their little cabal, and changed these dates. The reason why this date got changed because they wanted to hide something. So here, the alleged date, 1524, is written as I 524. The first letter is clearly seen as the Roman dotted I for the first letter of the name Jesus, which is Eosus at the time. That's not the only one. Here we go again. Here we have the use of the I again, which represents Eosus. The date then is 380 years from the Great Schism. That's what they're hiding. They're hiding the Great Schism. I'm going to tell you what the Great Schism is. This date after the Scaligerite reform took over and became 1380 AD. Damn, they got y'all. So let me break down what the Great Schism is. The Great Schism is told in history falsely. They said it's the breakup between the Western Catholic Church and the Eastern Greek Orthodox Church. Nope. Liar. Pass on fire. The Great Schism was the breach between the Byzantine Romans, the Saracens or Moors, and the Western Church. It was a three-way split. And the Western Church in Rome did not agree with the Eastern Orthodox Church or the Saracens. They wanted to take Eosus or Isho and make him into a real historical figure. Because prior to that, Eosus, Serapis, Osiris, all modifications of the same thing. A great hero, a legend. Zeus. Zeus is not white people. It's not pale people. They did not write no legends about Zeus and Athena and Atlas and Hercules. This is all indigenous Afro-Asiatic legends. Thor. I'm telling you, they had no history. The Bible was their first chance to have a history. Then they started, once they got that, they started backdating everything. So here we have the calendar, documents, era of Eosus or Jesus, 380 from the Great Schism. Era of Eosus, 1595, aka 595. You see how this gets? Figure 666. How convenient. The date, the alleged year 1597 is written as I XCV 11. 597. Year of Eosus. That was the year that they created Jesus. Jesus is only about 1,000 years old. The people prior to him had no knowledge or perception of someone who lived in the first century AD. So you say, well, who is Miriam and who is Isa? Oh, I'm going to get to that. Because the Muslims don't even put Jesus at 2,000 years ago. His name ain't even Jesus. That's two different people. The Arabs make you think Isa is Jesus. That's clear. All you gotta do is read the Quran. It's right in our face. So here they have it. I, era of Jesus. The figure of one is separated from the other figures with a dot and written as the Roman letter I. Eosus or Jesus. I could do this all day, y'all. All day. When I say all day, I mean, look at the J. J, 548. Era of Jesus. This is medieval times. This is The year that you think 1492 is the year. No, it's the era of Jesus, 492. This is how we know they doctored Columbus's journals. That's all doctored information. Look at this. J 652, J 654, J 631. Look at this. This is all now 1600s. So people had to get together. They had to get their fraternal Masonic brotherhoods together and say, look, we all got to get on the same page. 1742. Here's the date. 1744 or 744, year of the Great Schism. So let's sum it up. The Great Schism between the Western Catholic Church and the Greek Orthodox Church. We ain't got to go over that. We just said that. So all these Bibles are forgeries. The Aleppo text, the Masoretic text, the Codex Sinaiticus, the Codex Vaticanus, all Middle Age documents. Dead Sea Scrolls, no provenance. This book goes through each one, tells you where the oldest surviving copies are and how y'all, they're lying to y'all. Now let's go back. Since y'all talking about these guys, Flavius, Manetho, Ptolemy. I'm going to show you Flavius Josephus on a document in 850 AD and then let you deal with that. Since he was supposed to live 2,000 years ago, what is he doing in a document 800 years later? Did he live 800 years? Manetho, Ptolemy, Eusebius, St. Jerome, Constantine, Alexander the Great. You're taking everybody, Ali. Well, let's start with Flavius Josephus, because I just told you Scaliger brought him to us through Eusebius. But it's easy to see Flavius Josephus lived in the 1st century AD. And if you look at all the writings of the Apostle Paul and the books of Flavius Josephus, they interacting with the same people in the same places. This is supposed to be two different people. They never met each other in the same cities. See, when you do it, when you tell a lie, it's eventually gonna, somebody's looking at it, they're gonna figure it out. Philip with Flavius Josephus, Philip with Paul. Judas with Paul. Ananias with Paul. Theophilus with Josephus, Theophilus with Paul. Simon the Zealot with Josephus, Simon the Zealot with Paul. Simon the Essene with Paul. Matthias, John. Alexander with Josephus, Alexander with Paul. Nicanor, Nicholas, Stephen, Cornelius. Man, what's going on, bro? What happened? It was Flavius Josephus, who doesn't exist, who brought us Manetho. So an invisible person who never existed brought you Manetho. Then you find out that Josephus was brought by a man who lived in the 15 and 1600s. So that means that prior to that time, there was no Manetho. They backdated it. Then they backdated the Septuagint. Then they went to Ptolemy and they backdated him. Okay, let me go back to the Quran so I can fix y'all Muslims, because y'all think y'all got something. Y'all can't read the Quran. I'm going to show you you're illiterate. It's okay. I'm going to show you you're illiterate real quick. You're illiterate. You are. Yes, you are. You don't know what that stuff means. So, y'all talk about Immaculate Conception? They learned this in the birth class. Here's the panel. That's Maryam Ta Mary. Maryam is an Egyptian word. Here she goes. She's about to have an Immaculate Conception. Pheromone exchange. You see the ankh? That's the circle of Willis. That's a part of the brain. That's an organ in the brain. And it's connected to olfaction and the vomeronasal organ, the VNO organ, pheromones. Pheromones trigger ovulation. This is why I'm telling women that right in your Quran is telling you menses is harmful. Surah Al-Baqarah. How is it harmful? You're not supposed to be menstruating. You're supposed to be cloistered around a man or a woman, right? Sisterhood is holding you up. And his pheromones trigger ovulation, which prepares you for this. So now look at this. Look at this. Quran, Surah 66, 12, and Surah 19, verse 27 and 28. What does it say? And Mary, the daughter of Amran, the one who protected her purity. So we gave life unto her, and we gave her our ruach. So some people say that means breath. It also means authority and ruler. Here she go. Mary is carrying Jesus, or Isa, excuse me. And they said, oh, sister of Aaron. Aaron, like Aaron in the Old Testament? So this Miriam is way back to Egypt. Let's keep going. Look at the footnotes, Book of Numbers. The name of Aaron's wife was Jochebed, a descendant of Levi who was born to the Levites in Egypt. And Amram, she bore Aaron, Moses, and their sister Miriam. What is Mary doing in the Old Testament? And then you got Joshua, which is Joshua in the Old Testament. Y'all don't understand. This is scrambled eggs, bro. So the Mary, Am, and Isa in the Quran is Old Testament Egyptian figures with Egyptian names. Are y'all with me? So in the Quran, it just says, hey, man, it's a dude who came to her and he said, I'm about to give you a son. Then she came out, and what happened? She's talking to the ancestors. Look who she's talking to. Jehuti, Athoth, Noom, the fashioner of men, and Het Heru. They all like, look, you ready? Look what they did. Her belly's flat right here. Now she got a little. She ready. Now she ready. Look at her. Now she on a birth stool. This is a real temple, by the way. I'm showing the real image. That's her sitting on the birth stool right there. That's the leg of the, this is broken up here. Reconstruction. These are the midwives attending to her. And then the baby comes out. And it's Amenhotep III. The first immaculate conception recorded. This is why the old Orthodox Church has the Madonna. The Madonna is representing the Egyptical sigil of mother and inheriting son who inherits the empire. The Ruach, the Archon, the Shiro or Kiro, the Kiro Istos, the Christ. Christ was the ruler of Rome. And Ramesh, this is Ramesh. Ramesh is Egypt, is Tamari. I shared that. I'll go through the language though. I don't mind. So in the Quran, you're not dealing with no first century Mary and Jesus. That's Maryam and Isa. And then it says they are a sign for you. A sign meaning, going back to our double entendre, myth is your reality. What sign are they for you? They're a sign of how to create immaculate conception. A cloistered woman who is protected by a man who is not bleeding every month, who goes through ovulation, through pheromone triggering to have a son to carry on the lineage of the Father. That's what sign they are. So all this is black people all over the earth who have these stories. You don't know their stories, but you damn sure know 3 stars, or excuse me, 3 wise men. A star was a sign of his birth. That's serious. That's the whole cosmology of ancient Tameri, Egypt, Sirius, Orion. It's a story. It's hiding the reality. There was no Jesus of 2,000 years ago. Literally. It's drafted stories. Literally, it's drafted stories. Literally, it's drafted stories. I know you want to talk about Oxyrhynchus and the papyri that were found. I know you want to talk about that. But before you talk about that, let me do this. Let's jump to Moses. I gotta jump to Moses. How are we doing in the chat? Matter of fact, let me go check on the chat. How are we doing? If you want to know original religion, come here tomorrow. I'll be talking about your original religion tomorrow, which is nothing. Why you think you need religion? Religion is for belief. You're supposed to know God. You just want something to believe in. You know what? That's what a child does. A child wants something to believe in. And you know who's supposed to believe in? Their parents. And develop belief in themselves. Y'all grown-ass men out here want something to believe in besides yourself. You are a grown-ass man and you want something to believe in. Let me sit up. You are a grown-ass man and you want something to believe in. What the? I can't even talk like I want to talk on YouTube. But what is wrong with you, nigga? Like, is you crazy? So women, this is what happens. You complaining about men? This is what happens when you are not following the code that I just highlighted. You get grown-ass men asking me what to believe in. Stop complaining about men. Zip it up until you can figure out how to get with a man that is a man. So when you produce sons, you won't produce what's out here. I don't care what nobody's saying. Everybody promised somebody something. Somalians promised this. Y'all promised reparations. You are a grown-ass man. I need you to see what is happening. This is why you get laughed at. I'm talking about, I don't care who you are, Chinese, Asian, Arab, whoever you are. There's a group of men who know this is a lie. They're laughing at you all. They're still in the chat talking about atheism and all kind of other stuff. You're having the wrong conversation, bro. No, you shouldn't be believing in atheism. No, you shouldn't be believing in nothing. You're grown. I might cancel tomorrow just so I have to talk about believing in nothing. Believe in push-ups. Believe in training. Believe in going to the gun range. Believe in taking care of your wife and your children. Believe in being a productive member. Believe in being in a brotherhood. Believe in community. Y'all want to believe in the motherfucking Twilight Zone. Why do you want to believe in the Twilight Zone, bro? This is the problem. Now, women, y'all gave birth to these men. Y'all gave birth to this. I don't want to hear it. Y'all gave birth to this. I don't want to hear nothing spiritual, spooky, none of this you talking about. Y'all gave birth to this. I'm not done yet, though. I'm not done. Let me go back. Let me go to the Muslims. Because y'all swear y'all got y'all Muhammad and y'all good. All right, hold on. Give me a minute. Where y'all Muhammad's at? Y'all got the biggest heads. Y'all about to be bobbleheads in a minute. Y'all literally about to be bobbleheads. I'm about to turn all y'all Muslims into bobbleheads. So now, I'm going to destroy you with primary evidence. Y'all say Muhammad came, he met with, he was in the cave at Hira, and then Jibril came to him, and he started receiving Quran. It was in the month of Ramadan. The calendar is a 354-day calendar. You watch for the moon and you see Ramadan, and that's the sign. The Quran was revealed over 23 years. In 622 AD, there was a hijrah. From Mecca to Medina. Y'all got all kinds of stuff y'all talking about, man. That Muhammad did not exist. 622 was no hijrah. All the hadith are fake. And the whole chronology is off. And I'm about to prove it. That's why I put this link right here. I put that link right there so you won't get not one cry out of me or be able to cry to me to say I didn't put this in easy, studious form and put it in the chat again for you to study it. That's on you. It's in the chat. Let's show it again. It's in the chat. Matter of fact, if you're on Instagram, don't charge me with that too. I'm gonna go right to YouTube, put it in the chat too. It's on the page on Instagram too. We're not going there. So now let's go. All you imams, all of you ministers in the Nation of Islam, all of you more science sheikhs. I know almost all of you. I've been trying to tell you for years, so now I don't want to be your friend ever again for no reason, no purpose, no study, for nothing. I'm telling you, you're full of shit. You don't know nothing about the Quran, nothing about Islamic history, nothing about nothing. And I dare for you to come in the chat. I put the link in there. Let me put the link back in there again. I dare for you to invite whoever. You can invite Minister Farrakhan. You can invite Rizza Islam. You can invite Wesley Muhammad. You can invite whoever the sheikhs of the Boer Science temples are, your favorite Sufi sheikhs, all of you Negroes. I don't care who you are. The link is in the chat. Bring your ass up in here. I dare you. Now I'm about to go over this. I have to say it like that. There is no other way to deliver that. Y'all playing. Y'all playing with the people. And you're not playing because you don't have access to the information. Because I've been teaching this for years. So this is papyri from the British Library. I got the inventory down there, everything. This is the Greek. I transliterated the Greek right here for you. You see that right there? This papyri is from 850 AD. You see the name? What the hell is Flavius Josephus doing 800 and some odd years removed from his time period? Who is Memnon? Memnon is a fabled character in Greek literature that is the king of Ethiopia. Why are Saracens in here? Then they give a date. Year of the Saracens. They get a date for the Byzantine calendar. I'm going to read these dates. Look at what it says. This is 850 AD. For y'all Muslims, y'all supposed to be right here in control of this area in Egypt. Matter of fact, in 850 AD, it should have been Abbasids all over Egypt. Caliph al-Ma'mun should have been right up in here. Where he at? He ain't nowhere. Where does it start? In the name of the holy and life-giving consubstantial Trinity. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Look at that. That's right there. Petros, the Father, the Son, and the Hegu, Pneumatos, the Holy Spirit. Triados. I ain't making nothing up. It's right there. Written in the month of Epiphi. Stop. That's Coptic. The third indiction is a tax cycle of Flavius Joseph, son of who? What? Amir? Of the pagarchy of Himot. Look at this, man. What is going on here, bro? Look at this. You got Greek, Arabic, all mixed together. Of the three castles, of the Kondrati, of the fortress of Memnon. Who is Memnon? I'm going to show you who Memnon is. And what is the year? Not Hijra. There's no Hijra year here. If this is 850 AD, then we should be dealing with 232 AH. No, it's 232 RLB 232. R is 200, L B 232 of the Saracens. Why are the Saracens being counted? Where are the Muslims at? They're not even Muslims yet. In year 465 of Diocletian calendar. Diocletian is a Byzantine here. Where the Muslims at? Let's break this down. Amir Pagashias, commander of the Pagarchy. 232, year of the Saracens. 465, year of Diocletian. A Byzantine fiscal cycle. You got it. So we know that it was some people speaking this type of language there. The castles of Memnon. I mean, what? I got it all listed here. This is all in the book, by the way. I put all this shit in a book for you. This is just a copy of it. So let me come out of this real quick and let me see, y'all don't read. Y'all believe white people. I'm going to tell you why I'm so successful. I don't believe nothing white people say. Excuse me, let me stop. I don't believe nothing pale people say. Nothing. I'm going to say it again. I don't believe nothing that they say. That protects me. Nothing is alike. All right. Y'all want me to break that down another way? I could do that too. Let's go. Let's prove that Joe Muhammad is fake. All y'all Muslims, I don't care who y'all are, y'all worship the devil. Y'all worship Shaitan, and I'm not playing. I ain't got to the Afrocentric people yet. Y'all don't know nothing about history. Give me a minute. Now, this is the book that I just released. All arranged for you, nice and neat. But what we're about to go to is part 2, chapter 3. Actually, chapter 2. We just went over this guy. So now, let's go over this. So this is not a Hijra year. Let me go to chapter 3, actually. There we go. Now, when y'all read this book right here, the Quran, you can go to Surah 105. It's called Al-Fil, the elephant. And they thought this meant that the Abyssinians and Ethiopians was coming across over Yemen and bringing elephants into Arabia. No. This was the Sasanians who actually practiced warfare on Indian elephants that they brought into the Levant to fight. They rode elephants in. And so Surah 105 in the Quran is correct. You just got a false history from Arabs. They can't let you know that's the Sasanians because now stuff is going to start making sense. So you can look at Surah Al-Fil, and that is the Sasanian invasions, because you had 3 parties. You had the Saracens, the Byzantines, and the Sasanians. And later you got the Western Church. Now, Romans. Most people think the Moors and the Romans were fighting. No, the Moors and the Romans were the same people. The Byzantine Romans were Moors. And the Umayyad, who were the progenitor class of those Saracens who became Muslims, they're also Moors. This is why in the Quran, pay attention, the Quran is pro-Roman and anti-Arab. I'm going to say that again. The Quran is pro-Roman, anti-Arab. You can go to Surah Al-Roms, the 30th Surah. It talks about the defeat of the Romans, Byzantines, to who? The Sasanians, the people of the elephant. You can look at these real documents in history. Then it says they will be victorious. And they were. And the victory of the Romans or the Byzantine Moors came over the Sasanians in 622 AD, and it was because of the assistance of the Saracens. So because of that, they were given the Hijaz. The Hijaz here is called Gaza today. Ha is a term that means the in the old Asiatic languages, like Syriac. I won't say Hebrew because that's not an old language. It's also a fake language, so I'm not going to say that. However, the Byzantine Romans got help from the Saracens. 622 AD, this is why the calendar is running. This is why when I did the lecture on Ahmed ibn Washia, he was using the Saracen calendar. And he said he wrote his work right here. This work right here in the year 241 and gave it to Abd al-Malik. What is Abd al-Malik doing around in 241 AH? It wasn't AH, it was the year of the Saracens. The Hijra fake calendar had not been invented yet. So I'm giving you chronology. When things happen. Why do you need to know? Because you need to tell a different story. You don't even know what Christmas means because you can't decode the light. So here we go. Here is an example of the forgery. Y'all read the Bible and the Quran all the time. This is right in your surahs. Surah 9, ayat 25 and 26. Hunain is mentioned. The battlefield and Hunain. They try to make you think, oh, this is the battle of Hunain when the prophet went in and fought the tribes of... No. This happened in 614 AD. Hunain is a Saracen. The people in the Quran are citing their forefathers and when they got free. Hunain was a military leader amongst the Saracens. He had a brother named Nehemiah ibn Hushil. Nehemiah is called Nehemiah in the Bible. Nehemiah fought against the Byzantine emperor Heraclius. So the Saracens were fighting the Romans, the Sasanians, and siding with each one to try to get their bid because they were the people who were indigenous to the area. Just like when the British were fighting against the early Americans, who did they get to fight? The Revolutionary War was fought by Indians. Those redcoats was Indians. You think they were shipping thousands and thousands of British soldiers over here to fight in these colonies? Are you crazy? When they wanted to invade Africa, didn't they go to Jamaica and get the West Indian regiments? Go look it up. West Indian regiments. They went to Jamaica, got a bunch of black people to invade other black people. So anyway, Nehemiah in the Bible is Nehemiah and Hunain in the Quran. The only difference is they backdated it by over 1,000 years in the Bible. They took the original Saracen story of Hunain, who was the brother of Nehemiah ibn Hushel, a Saracen, made him Jewish, and backdated the story by 1,100 years. So when the Quran is accusing someone of rewriting histories, who do you think they're pointing to? Small hats. Yes, I know about the work of Anatoly Fomenko, but Anatoly Fomenko is completely wrong on Islamic history. I got his book right here. I read everything, bro. He's great on European history, terrible on indigenous history in the Levant and in Islamic history. Absolutely terrible. So you can read this. I got all this stuff in here. So it wasn't no hijrah of Prophet Muhammad. Y'all niggas are stupid. Like, you're stupid. You are a walking clown. I'm going to call you what you are. I'm not going to be nice about this. I don't want friends. I don't like people anyway. But I want you to know every day you walk in your skin when you put on that dusty ass jalabia that you are a walking clown. There's no other way to put it. You're a walking clown. So you can read on this and I can break down year for year, everywhere people were, what they were doing. I don't care what y'all say. So let's get the years right. This is the lie. Prophet Muhammad lived in the 600s. Then you had the four rightly guided caliphs. Then you had the Umayyads in 661. Then you had the Abbasids. Then you had the Quran. No, 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 no. The real history of the Saracens is told right in the Quran. The Safa and the Marwa is the Sufi. Where you get the word Sufi from? Right here. Y'all talking about the people of the wool. No, that is the earliest dynasty. This is why they diss Muawiyah in the Hadith. He was the first to break away from the not the first, excuse me. He was the one to solidify the start of the Umayyad dynasty. So let's get these years right. I want to show you the actual years. Here we go. Give me a second. I might go back. Yeah, let me go back. All right, so I'm going to give you the dates for all of these things because it's in this text. There we go. All right, so when we look at the papyrus, it came from the year 850 AD. The Umayyads started in 860 AD and went all the way to 925. And that's where you have the Abbasids come. Then you have the Great Schism. You have the start of the writing of texts by Arabs, by the way, that lead to the New Testament. Don't nobody care about y'all fake stones. Like literally. I just want to get to this point. Matter of fact, let me just go all the way to the appendix, because then I can just read it off of my charting. Here we go. Here we go. All right. So Muawiyah comes with the Sufyanid dynasty, which is the Safa and the Marwa. Those are not hills in the Quran. There was no Hajj to no Mecca. Hajj was made to Becca. Becca is a place, we're about to show you where it is. Then you had Abd al-Malik, 860 AD. Then the Abbasids came. Great Schism. So the Quran was actually composed by the Umayyads from 860 AD to 950 AD. This is why you can't find no early copies of the Quran. And it was a war over history. This is why they're dissing Hadith. The Hadith were happening while they were composing their text. They had already deciphered the hieroglyphics. Ahmed ibn Washiyah gave them the alphabet system, and they were trying to tell stories. This is why I could take you to the Moses in the Quran and show you that he was a 4th century Hermetic alchemist and monk that was being tortured by the ruling authority at that time, which was foreign. We put that in the book. It's in there. So we gave you some charts so you can follow those charts. Now, skip down through the glossary and go to these areas where you can look. So Becca is up here with Jerusalem. There ain't no damn Mecca. Mecca should actually be about right there. It said, indeed, the first house established for mankind was that at Becca. They try to say Mecca. No, that's not in the text. Becca, literally. So you can read about those dynasties and see what that time period is like. There it is. You Muslims, I'm telling you, you cannot open up your Quran. Argue with me. I dare you. Your Muhammad does not exist. The Muhammad of the Quran is not the same Muhammad that you believe in. You don't know nothing about it. You have contorted, non-coherent thoughts about everything. That's why y'all can't get nothing done. And y'all never will. Ever. Nothing. No progress. I promise. Not progress rooted in divine progress. Let's put it like that. And so what am I saying? I didn't even start on Alexander the Great. I'm looking for those other people. Listen, we've been here for 1 hour and 42 minutes. I've been checking all the social media. I haven't heard not one person come on and say, Ali, you're wrong. Y'all know how many people be watching these videos? Eventually. They kill my old channel, that's fine. But folk be watching these videos. Tomorrow we're going to look at the comment section because that's how they usually do. It's going to be quiet. So let me close out on this because I'm not going to waste your time because I'll be back here tomorrow. Get the book so you can study, so you can put stuff down that is doing you brain damage because your brain should be directed towards fulfilling the things that you want to envision in your purpose and the purpose of your family. That's why you're here. You're here to fulfill your purpose. Am I an atheist? No. Do I follow stupid religions? No. Do I follow my traditional indigenous religion? Yes. Is there a creator in that system? Yes. It's not one you believe in, it's one that you know. That's the power. That's the peace. That's the good decisions. That is the success in life. That is the awareness of what the afterlife actually means. You can't get no better than that. Not only that, I can prove all of the information that is in the East that is of a divine character came from the West. And when I say all, I mean A-L-L, all of it. All of it. The rest is a psyops. But it's not a psyops if you have sight. The question is, who are you listening to? You could be getting poisoned by someone you think is friendly, who is absolutely possessed with someone else's story. Those customs didn't get nobody enslaved. That's your problem. You believe, look, let me tell you something. You believe that there are people on this land that did not survive all of the wars and keep all the information. You're wrong. This is why I'm doing a whole documentary on the Civil War, including the Revolutionary War and parts of it, so you can see you did not get your ass kicked until you integrated. You want to know when you got your ass kicked? In the 20th century. I'm doing the documentary. Let me show you where I'm doing the documentary. Let me show you the documentary. Let me show it to you. Let me show you the flyer for it. Let me show you all that. So you can stop believing we got our ass kicked. Oh, we got slave names. You think your last name is a slave name? You're a slave just for believing that. You're a slave just for believing that. Let me show you. I'm talking about absolutely eclipsed. This is what I'm doing a documentary on right here. So let me quote what I'm saying here. The real story of the American Civil War, the Indigenous Rebellion, the Black Insurrection. These Neanders actually don't know U.S. history either. I'm teaching them things they never heard of and breaking up the pseudo history they have in their heads. They don't even know we are the reason the North won. They don't know Lincoln chose civil war to avoid a 200,000 man army from a black army from invading Atlanta in 1856 that was exclusively black. We even know the locations where we planned every insurrection and ran the real Underground Railroad that has never been told in conventional history books. Harriet Tubman ain't have shit to do with the Underground Railroad. The Underground Railroad was military bases in Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, and Texas, with sprinkles of places everywhere. And all the rebellions were planned from there. We even used the telegraph to communicate. This is why people all throughout the South can figure out what was going to happen in a matter of hours. And I'm talking about a telegraph system that did not use Morse code, and they wrote it down that they were doing that. But y'all don't read it. So when did you lose? You didn't lose the American, you didn't use Indian removal. You just went and built more cities. You didn't lose the Civil War. You didn't lose the American Revolutionary War. You might have lost some skirmishes and battles. You didn't lose it. It was people coming out of the Great Dismal Swamp with locks and all kinds of stuff, with their original names and everything. You lost at integration, Negro. You lost with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. You lost when you tried to Africanize yourself with Marcus Garvey. Even though I like Marcus Garvey, I don't think that he was hired to do that. I just think that he thought that he was African. And I proved to you that the name Garvey was a royal name that came out of Europe, and that his lineage was indigenous to Jamaica and family members that came from Europe. Garvey was not a slave name. I proved that already. I did Malcolm X's genealogy. I did Dr. Khalid Muhammad's genealogy. I did all these people's genealogy. I put it into a documentary, and y'all niggas ain't even watching. That's y'all fault. Y'all won't have no excuse after me. After I stop talking, you won't have no excuse. I promise you. So when did you lose? Y'all think, look, you lost in your head. Just think about that. You lost in your head. The last name is not Branch. Your last name is Barack, like Barack Obama. You think it's Branch, it's Barack. And your family lineage can be traced. Easy. So you lost when you integrated. You lost when you lost your women and your family to all of the things that happened in the 20th century. Prior to that, you was in your own cities. Yes, they flooded and they burned. Look, they burned Tulsa down. People went right back. Most people don't know that. You died off recently. Your great-great-grandmother was a midwife, probably wearing white turbans like mine. Grandma Ada, then her daughter, midwife, in the South, South Carolina, practicing Southern hoodoo, going to church like they was Christian. I remember that, and I'm only 50 years old. You lost in your head. This is all recent that you lost. You thinking that you lost in slavery. You thinking that you lost, I don't know when you thinking you lost. But our great-grandparents and great-great-grandparents and great-great-great-grandparents were the last ones who knew the story. So I know the story. I'm going to tell it. I'm going to tell it through documentaries. I'm going to tell it through literature. I'm showing you literature. I'm sharing the literature with you right now. People won't have an excuse. And then we can move however we want to move. Nobody is forcing nobody to do nothing. We have a community. We're not worried about that. But for those of you who don't have family, who don't have community, you're just out here, you're a bot. You're an NPC. And it ends with you. And your children will be lost because they have no culture. And they're going to get the stories revamped in their head over and over and over again. But that does not have to be your destiny, but that will be your fate. Your destiny can be shaped by yourself by having divine wisdom, by knowing the real creator. And then from that wisdom, moving in life, recognizing your own divinity and protecting your own divinity. And moving with people who do that by code, by policy, and learning how to strategize in the world that you live in. We live in the world. We have to strategize. But your leadership is not talking the type of family orientation, morality, education, economic strategy that you need as a people, because they're stupid. And because y'all want people to play politics and fake diplomacy and not call a spade, you're stuck in that world too. And you're going to be there. And your children will be there. Your great-grandchildren will be there. And then eventually, at some point, with the way that things are going off, your lineage will die off. Just think about it. All because you don't love the truth. I'm done. See y'all tomorrow.